about that idea?
Yes, of course. I think it's a kind of employee's profile, the kind of responsibilities that person is going to carry on.
Yes, yes.
Ruchi, I have made you host. So when Archana ma'am joining, kindly give her this share screen and another.
Sure.
Either you can make her host, right?
No, ma'am. No, sir. Definitely, I'll do that. I'll make him her host. So, see you all. Job description is details what we have to describe in what they have to done actually. Okay, and it consists of, first of all, you have to write job title. Means first of, see, I'll show you this one. Can you see there? See, you can see this one. Job title. I'm just showing for, I have shared with Archana ma'am also. I think he will be sharing with you all. Can you see this?
Yeah, we can.
Right? First,
Yes.
your designation would be there. Okay, designation would be there, your job band. Some companies have their bands, okay? And to whom you are going to report, okay? And
Yeah.
then after that, purpose, what is the purpose? Then whom you are going to report, and your this graph is also there, okay, like this. See, whom you are going to reporting, because you should know whom you have to report. Who is your line manager? Who is your line manager, and what things you have to report them. After that, key responsibilities come. What are your responsibilities? Okay. Organization structure and key responsibilities, and what points come into key responsibilities. Those are managing the area in which you are working. Okay, one point. And second point is just a minute. Skills, experiences, okay, and qualifications that should come like this. All have defined very nicely. And what else can be added in job description? Do you have any idea about that? Devansh, Deepika?
Ma'am, salaries and benefits can be there.
Benefits and?
Salaries, ma'am, salary. I'm talking
No,
about.
no. Salary is never mentioned in this JD. Salary is also always mentioned in your what is called this appointment letter.
Okay.
The appointment letter which you get in the first day when you join, HR gives you appointment letter. So salary, your leave, and many things are described in that only.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so that will be in.
Ma'am, the skills can be described.
Yes, skills can be. Yes, I told you, no, last point, skills / experience / communication, qualification. Okay, 3 points. Qualification, skills, and skills. Qualification, skills, and experience. Sorry. Okay. Anything? Deepika?
I can add only that point you have already mentioned, experience.
Experience, right.
Right.
Ma'am, job scope.
Not scope actually. What you have to do, okay, that is mentioned in what things you have to cover, like that is mentioned in job description.
Okay.
Scope is already decided in your interview for what you are eligible and for you what you are suitable. Understand? That is decided in the time of your interview only.
Today we have to show the assignment, na?
Yes, assignment.
Related to job description of general manager.
Yes, hotel general manager. So might you have like prepared very well, I think.
No, actually I didn't get time.
No?
No, properly not.
Properly not, but you will be coming to know. Once you will start, you'll be able to. Bushra?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Deepika, have you done?
Working condition
No, actually,
can be job description as well. Working conditions of the employees.
Pardon, I didn't get you, Bushra.
Working condition of the organization can be added in job description.
Working conditions. Yes, that can be. That can be a part. Like what is the purpose and managing, what you have to manage, general administration, security, okay, system improvement. It depends upon whose JD you are going to prepare. Okay. So not everybody has joined. Prachi, invite karo, admit karo. Now Hima has also joined. Prachi. Hi Hima, good evening. Hima, can you hear me? Hello. Prachi. Good evening, Hima.
Good evening.
Hima, ma'am is joining in 5-10 minutes. So Neeraj sir just asked us to discuss about this job description. Okay. So writing a job description, competencies, and what are the side effects like. Okay. So can you please tell us about something job description? Have you any idea about job description?
Like the role what we are applying for the job regarding that task, what we have
Yes.
to accomplish.
Correct.
What regarding the skills.
Correct role. What role you have to play in your office? Okay. Once you start your company, you have to make lots of JDs, or your HR will make JDs, right?
Yes.
Or your like CAs and all in different for different positions, and Devans for you also for your hotel. In many of the companies, people actually don't know what they have to do and to whom they have to report. Exactly, they don't know. So there should be a graph to your immediate line manager. Okay, who is your like mentor, who is your line manager, whom you have to report. Correct or not? Right? Anything you want to say, Devansh, Deepika, Bushra?
Not as such, Ruchi.
Bushra, you have prepared your job description for hotel management, general manager?
Yes, I have prepared it. The presentation, right?
Okay. And Hema?
Yes, I have prepared for that sports customer service manager.
Okay. Okay, fine. You have prepared that one. Just a moment. Give me a second. Ruchi, please, Archana ma'am. मैम शायद आ गई इनवाइट करना है चलो मैम एडमिट आ गई मैम मैम हैज जस्ट ज्वाइन उनको होस्ट बना दो मैं।
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good. All of you are here? Anybody's left? I think everybody is here. Prachi, Devansh, Hima, Deepika, Bushra, Ruchi. Okay, perfect. Good. So none of you have sent your assignment except Ruchi.
No, ma'am, I sent the assignment.
Who is saying that?
7. Ma'am, Bushra.
Ah, yeah,
At 7, I
Bushra.
sent.
Right. When did you send Hima? Just now. Just 5 minutes back.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I just saw it. Okay. Deepika, Devansh,
Ma'am,
no
I have
assignments.
no, ma'am, I have not sent. I have not prepared the assignment right now. Last 1 week, I was not able to attend the class due to some technical issues.
Yes, but please attend the class. Otherwise, what will happen? These extra classes will get over and you will not
No,
understand.
ma'am, that was
No?
totally due to network issue because it
I
was
know
totally
that,
raining
yes.
and even
Hmm.
in J&K especially, already 2G net is going on still.
Right, I know that. Yeah.
Unable to attend the class.
Okay.
Yes.
Submit after the class.
But I will
After the
definitely
class.
send you within 1 or 2 days. I will
Sure.
definitely send you.
Okay, done. So what were we discussing last week? We wanted to discuss about job descriptions, right? And I think sir also take care of this particular topic this week. This weekend, he also took competencies again, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So now I think you are much better clear on what competencies are. So I'll not take a detailed thing. I'll just take a quick test of all of you, right? Asking you questions so that we are aware that everything that sir has taught you is clear to all of you. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So tell me, what are the general competencies that, what do you mean by general competencies?
And the general basic skills needed in an employee.
Like?
Like good communication skill, good leadership. He should be a good listener, so that he should listen to his commands, and whatever commands is given to him by his or her head.
Okay.
And good communication, both a good listener and a good speaker too.
Okay. So do you think that general competencies are similar for each role?
No, ma'am, it varies from which role you are applying. Like if you are applying for a head of HR, then your competencies may vary from the sales HR, sales head. Sorry, it may vary from post to post. But the basic skill which everyone wants in an employee is almost the same. Like a good communication skill is needed in both a sales manager as well, and as well as an HR manager.
Okay. So suppose I have to hire an IT manager for my company. My company is IT. I am looking for somebody with technical skill set of Java, Python, and they have to work on programming. What kind of general skills would be required? General
Coding.
competencies.
Coding.
General skills we are talking about.
Design thinking.
Design thinking. Okay, good. What else?
good with the technicalities of the computers, as nowadays the
Soft-
computers are being a little technical, which is very much not handy with the common people. They should be handy with all the technical things.
No. See, you've not understood the job description. The job description I am telling you is that you're looking for a person who can do programming or can develop some applications or some product, right? A complete IT guy. So, like you said, for sales manager, communication skills are basic competency that is required. So, what are the skills for an IT person that would be required, which can come under basic competencies or generic competencies? Okay, let's change the example. If IT industry you're not aware about, so let's talk about, suppose you are hiring for a college, right? So for a college professor, what are the generic competencies that would be required?
Ma'am, qualification, the qualification of the teacher.
No, we are not talking about qualifications. We are talking about competencies. Acha, what is the difference between competencies and job description? Or any one of you who can describe competency for me, what you have understood.
Ma'am, may I?
Yes, any one of you, maybe all of you.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. According to me, competencies is about like what are the basic skill set required for a particular role. It includes attitude, skill, and knowledge. All the three aspects. And when we talk about job description, it talks about something specifically. Like for when we talk about job description, it talks like basically like a general manager operation. It talks individually about something. And when we talk about competencies, it talks about three things: attitude, qualification, and knowledge, I guess.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, carry on. This is not for you right now. We'll come to this later on. Who wants to say next? Devansh, what do you understand by competencies?
Competencies are, if we talk about knowledge, skills, and responsibilities of a particular role. So the competency, it's come. I guess it's come under the job description only. For a job description, we mentioned also, and job specific, ma'am, uh, for a department or a role.
Okay. So how's our skill and competencies differ? If I say I have a skill set and if I say I have a competency, how does two things differ from each other? How can communication skill is a competency?
Ma'am, it is a competency if it is required for that particular job.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Ma'am, just like conversation skill would be considered as a competency if it is required for that particular job.
Okay. And what is communication skills then? 2 घंटे 4 घंटे की क्लासेस की हैं इस हफ्ते and you're not able to answer these questions. कैसे काम चलेगा? Two faculties sharing the same topic and still you are saying that you don't know about this particular.
Ma'am, I think knowledge and behavior comes in competencies, ma'am. Knowledge and behavior. Skills come in this. Knowledge and behavior comes in, ma'am. Competencies.
Okay. Chalo, मान लेते हैं, this is the job description which is in front of you. Right? And you have to write a good job description on this. You have
Yes,
your
ma'am.
pen and papers ready?
Yes.
How do you create a job description? I have given you all the standard topics in this particular one. Like I told you last week that I'll be sharing some job descriptions with you. So before I share the real-time job descriptions that we create for our clients, I wanted to give you this description. That what exactly a job description comprises of. We'll come to competencies later on, right? So first we'll finish this. So like we discussed last week, that job analysis ke andar, there are two parts, job description and job specification, right? That's how we write our job descriptions.
Right.
So now within job analysis, this is the entire thing that is being written for any new role that you have to create within your organization. Right? So what are the information that is required for a very well written job descriptions are? These are the important things that you need to ask these questions to your people, because as an HR manager, you won't be aware about all the answers to these questions yourself. So if you are hiring for sales department, you might have to ask this question from sales department or marketing department or finance. So depending upon position to position, these are few questions. So for example, the first one is job title. So you have to insert a good job title for your position, whether it is HR manager, you want to call it, you want to call it deputy manager, you want to call that person human resource head for that organization, whatever. Then location, understood, very self-understood kind of a thing for whatever location or branch is your office. Then terms of contract means whether it is part-time, full-time, number of hours. These days we are talking about is a hybrid system, either it is work from home or work from office or combination of both, right? Then salary or rate. So generally in USA market or outside India, people talk about rate system of finalizing the salaries. In India, we talk about salaries and compensation. Requirements, any specific requirements, such as if the person is required to work on weekends or they might have to work in different shifts, totally depending upon the structure of your organization, you can assign your requirements into that, right? Understood this part, right? Then aata hai about us. Now in about us, what are you going to write about in that particular section? You're going to write about the company's details, that which company is basically looking for the people, right? So about us section is totally about very brief description, which you can take from company profile or you can design on your own. So which you can easily use for various jobs that you are going to post for the company, right? So you can write about what kind of markets people would be operating in, what are the products and services you're offering, and a very brief things about the culture and mission statements of your organization, right? Not really very lengthy. Largely, most of the job descriptions you will see, this particular thing is written in just 3 or 4 lines. Again, depending upon which medium you're posting in. Print media, the costs are very high. So generally people post it very briefly. So as I always say, that communication for HR plays very important role. So when you're writing down all these things, it comes down to how your good communication skills in terms of written skills are in English, right? So that you can summarize the things, you can understand how you can still pass on the message to people, but summarizing it in very, very less details. Then aata hai about the role. So what exactly the role consists of? We are not talking about task right now. We are not talking about responsibilities. We are just talking about what really the role will look like within the organization. Whether it's a senior leadership role that you're hiring for or medium role, whether the person really needs to take care of the people under them. It has a team under it, right? What are the contributors that you have to have? So, right, problem solving skills hona chahiye, decision making skills hona chahiye, people management skills, you should be able to train people. So some things like that. So very generic things, but about the role you have to mention it here. Then aata hai aapka responsibilities, which we talked about last week, that you have to write down all the tasks, roles and responsibilities that you have to take care of. right? That has to be mentioned, right? As it is written here, you can see in responsibility, it is very clearly written that it should be always bullet pointed. Bullet pointed is 1, 2, 3 numbers you are giving, or you're writing it in bullet points, so that whosoever is reading it very concretely. It should look very crisp and clear to each one of them. Because if it is in a paragraph mode, generally it takes huge amount of time and you lose control over the entire thing. Second is broad responsibility and specific tasks you should mention. You cannot mention the secondary tasks that we take care of, like checking mails, answering phone calls, all those things, until unless these are primary tasks, right? So all that people who work under primary task and secondary task, you should write all the responsibilities that comes under broader responsibility, which is primary task that a person has to do, right? Similar to what we write for OKRs. Then आता है who will they liaise with. Liaise with मतलब people who are you going to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Like, you are going to deal with your seniors, you're going to deal with marketing department if you're in sales, or you're going to deal with various other people. Vendor management ka role hai. If you're in logistics, you are going to handle the warehouse also. So different things. That is specifically talking about the role that you are going to play and the people who are involved into the entire process of job description. Then aata hai what works or results you will be accountable for. So targets, timelines, the SMART goals that we talked about, it's the time to write all those things. That within a year, the company is looking for a growth from you for approximately 20% in the sales. Right? So all that thing that the person now would be accountable for, the results they have to give, you will have to talk about in 1 or 2 lines. And then last would be that you're talking about the training and people management part of it as a primary responsibility. Anybody whosoever is hired for managing a team under them has the responsibility of people management. So that is also a very concrete responsibility. Wherever you see a manager word is written or team lead is written, that's when you will understand that the person have to take care of a responsibility of their entire team also. So you're not an individual worker, you are a team worker where you are responsible for an entire team's performance as well. So you can't say tomorrow, it's written in your job description that you will be responsible for 5 people. And tomorrow you can't say कि मेरा performance, though it's 100%, but my team has not performed. They have performed only 80%. Will it work? It will not work, right? So that's how the job descriptions are written smartly, and it should give and pass on the message to the person who is reading it for the very first time. Then आ जाता है आपका last में candidates requirement. So candidates requirement in the sense that now it comes the part of your skills, experience and qualifications that you're looking for, right? क्या उनका institute होना चाहिए, which institute you are hiring from, what is the skill set that you're looking at. Now the competencies that you're talking about comes under in this particular portion, right? So now you will be able to write down a good job description. I'll share this in the group so that you have an idea about it. There was another one I wanted to show you. So the JDs that you have written as part of the assignment, is it the same? Yes or no? अरे सब चुप ही हो गए एकदम. Okay, this is the real one that I wanted to show. I am not sharing the name of the company with you here, so I'm just hiding out the details about the company. Right, this is how this entire thing look. We are hiring for a senior role, which is Chief Technology Officer for an organization. So this is what the CTO would be doing. So what does it say? That what does a CTO do? So you are explaining in each point technology stack, matlab within technology, what are they going to handle? Manage operations means in the entire operation of the organization, what are they going to contribute? Performance track means for their employees, people who are reporting into them, because it's a CTO position, what kind of performance they are going to reward and how are they going to assess. Then a technical vision, how the technically company they are actually going to grow. Then represent the company as a CTO, because it's a senior level position. So they will be representing company in many conferences, many fairs, many other places. So how are they going to do that? All these things are written. And then 6 point, as you can see, is written about managing a team. Right? Then what traits should startup CEOs, CTOs should have? Right? So what kind of traits a CTO should have? Somebody with a customer-centric mindset. Team management is very important. Prior experience in startups, negotiation skills, problem-solving skills, technocrat, and strategic thinking. Correct? Then are there the top 3 challenges of a startup CTO? What are these top 3 challenges? Managing talent, managing innovation, managing priorities. Right? Then are there the essential tech stack? टेक्नोलॉजी में क्या क्या स्किल सेट स्पेसिफिकली आना चाहिए, which is your technical competency also, which they should be aware about, right? So that's how they write all these things. Then essential requirements means what's your experience that they are looking at, what are the skills, analytical skills, ability to design, performance track record, technical and strategic level, vertical and horizontal, all these things. Then आ जाता है आपका desirable requirements, that without which the company cannot really hire you, which means your degree or diplomas, that is really, really important. Then location and a little bit about the organization. Right? So this is how you write all the job descriptions with everything in details. You cannot really leave away everything, so that anybody who is applying for the job or anybody who is actually going through perform all those tasks within the organization should all the time be aware about what are they supposed to do within the organization. Right? Got this thing? Now you can change your, what do you call it? Assignments that you have sent. If that's incomplete, or you feel that things are not really written the way it should be, then you can mention all these details out there. Sorry?
I have one question.
Yes, please.
How we can define a salary in a job description of a general manager?
For a general manager, depends करता है कौन सी company के लिए general manager ढूंढ रहे हो. General manager is a very what do you call it? General term. So what organization, what role, what industry, totally depends upon that.
Job description of a hotel. In a salary part, what we have to write?
Ma'am, salary is described in job description.
Yes. Yes. Compensation is always mentioned. How can somebody will apply? Suppose if I am already at 2 crores and your general manager position is only giving 70 lakhs, why will I apply for this job? So a generic range is given that this particular position, the CTC maximum can go up to 50 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 20 lakhs, whatever. It is mentioned. Or sometimes it is written if the company is not really sure what they have to pay or they don't want to disclose. So sometimes they write that they will give as per the industry standards.
Yes, otherwise that is written in, I think, offer letter, ma'am.
No. See, that is a different thing. Suppose if you are hiring for some position which is already not for the freshers, but people who are experienced. Now, if you don't mention a range of salary, and all those people who have applied are over the range of what you are really looking for, then all the entire exercise of sourcing and hiring will go in waste. So it's always good that you mention a specific range, that you're hiring people within this particular range. So
Okay.
if your experience you're looking at 3 to 4 years, so it's always good to mention within 6 to 8 lakhs or 6 to 10 lakhs, depending upon which industry you're hiring.
You can add contract also, ma'am, minimum 1 year contract, or
You can do contract, depends upon if your organization is looking for contractual employees, you can do contractual employees as well. They can come as consultant. Yeah. For a general manager in hotel, again, it depends upon how large is the property. 3-star property, 5-star, 4-star, and how large is the property. Now in general manager in place like Shimla, you might find people with just 20,000, 24,000 rupees salary also, because city is small. They do not have that much of thing. Now, if it's general manager in Jaipur, same profile, similar kind of hotel, you will find people working for 5 lakhs, 5-10 lakhs rupees, right? So depending upon number of size, number of rooms, size, property, all those things, right? So you'll have to see and then find out. So salary again is a very, very critical thing that is being designed. Right? Sir is going to teach you. I mean, sir is taking that topic. He will tell you salaries, के component structure कैसे design करना and all that. And I will take you through rewards and recognition, that how senior level salaries are going to design. That will come later on. All right, so this is what we talked about today. Now quickly about the competencies. You've already done that. So I'm not taking too much of time. I'll just take you through very quickly from this. So general definition of competency is any characteristics of an employee that contributes to successful job performance and achievement or organizational results. It can be skills, abilities, and knowledge like you're talking about already, but generally in generic terms, it always talks about measurable ones, not the general ones. Now, what are the types of competencies? Before we define individual competencies or competencies for any job position, it is always important that you design and drive the company's competencies or organization competencies. Every organization will have a various different kind of competency set. If you're not deriving that, your entire competency mapping will fail. Right? So what people generally do these days is they take out some competencies. Key, suppose for a sales manager job, communication is important, right? Problem solving is important. Customer centric is important. They take it out from internet, easily available, and then they try and see whether organization competency mapping is being done. So like sir has showcased an Excel sheet. So similar Excel sheets, similar programs are available on the internet everywhere. So now what people try to do, people who have no idea about what competencies are, how it is to be mapped. So what they will do is they will write down all those competencies that they have copied from somewhere and they will start grading them. Right? But this is not how it happened. Majority of the time, whenever you are not driving out your competency, if you don't know your organizational competency, you cannot map individuals' competency. I'll give you example. So for example, you are all common thing between you all students today, Ruchi, Divansh, Deepika, because if we talk about your professional competencies would be different. But one thing which is common under all of you right now is that you are a part of YSI. Right? So YSI is a common organization we can talk about. So YSI की organization competencies क्या हैं? If we have to talk about the organizational competency, this is the definition which is written. So if you have to take out YSI's competency, what are the competencies which you will take out? What are we doing at YSI?
It prepares the student. It prepares the student equal to the student or people doing 2 years of MBA, and we are just doing 6 months of course, and we are equal. We are equal to them.
Okay, good. So that's the mission kind of thing for organization. Now, what is the competency you can take out of this mission? What are we doing in YSI? We are providing mini MBA to people at minimum cost. Right? So that's kind of people centric as well as value pricing.
Yes.
So in order to take out organizational competency, you need to understand the nature of business of that particular firm and company. Right? It is not really a difficult task. It's just that you should be able to understand the entire company's vision. Now, suppose we talked about YSI. Let's take another common example. So McDonald's, everybody knows, right?
Yes.
Everybody has eaten sometime at some point in time. So what is the McDonald's organizational competency? One is
Yes,
written
ma'am.
here.
Yes. Quick service you have written, ma'am.
Right. So one is written here. What else is there?
Quality, ma'am. Fresh quality.
Okay. Good quality.
Yes, good quality.
What else?
Price also, ma'am. Its price
Price
also less.
value. Price value. Yeah.
Okay. So three things you are saying, right? So value pricing, quick service, and quality. Right. So these are organizational competencies of McDonald's. So now McDonald's is hiring for some position. So what are the individuals' competencies that they will be looking at, no matter what role? Three important things that they will be looking at is?
Communication skills.
No.
Effectiveness of a person.
Relate it with these three, na? See, when you're taking out organizational competencies, so first competencies for every position, which you said that generic competencies would come from here. So if McDonald's is talking about quick service, so what do they expect from people who will provide quick service?
Employees.
People, right? So people will provide quick service. So if we are hiring people, what are we looking at? People who are smart, who are energetic, right? Go-getter. So these are the kind of skills that you will look into that, right? Somebody who is slow and lethargic and not really, coming across to be a very high energetic person in the interview, will you hire that person?
No.
No, right? So there will be a reject. So that's how your competencies define from organizational competencies to departmental. From departmental, it goes to personal.
Understood.
Right? Now you understood this point. So next time anybody asks you this question that how generic your competencies are, you are going to talk about this. Okay, so what are the types of competencies? Like sir must have told you. So number one is foundational competencies, which is also called rear wheeled competencies. Right, this is the things that you're talking about all the time: skills, knowledge, and attitude. These have to be there in all the people at all the time, and it is linked to your technical and functional competencies. For examples, these are the examples which is given there: teamwork, your oral communication, your customer focus, your adaptability, initiative lene ka thing, professionalism. Many such words are there which can become your foundational competencies. That it has to be there. correct? And these are desirable no matter which area of expertise or functional knowledge you come with. So no matter whether you want to become a sales manager or a marketing or a finance guy, these has to be a part of your core system. Right? These competencies also define the culture of an organization. Like we keep talking about कि culturally fit है company के लिए नहीं है. Whether I generally keep talking about, cultural hiring is really important. So cultural hiring cannot happen till the time you don't know about organizational competencies and you don't know about the foundational competencies. Right? All other terms, all other things or functional things. See, because functional तो बहुत आसान हो जाता है hire करना. Why? So you are a sales, you're looking for a sales manager. Sales manager के लिए functional competencies क्या होंगी?
Convincing power, ma'am.
Correct. So convincing power, so to persuade somebody or persuasion skills, things like that. If we talk about in management jargons, right? So this is what we'll ask for. What else would be there in a sales manager?
Presentable.
Right.
And communication
Ma'am, he should be able to resolve the confusion of the distributors or whatever, to whatever people he is, selling the product or something.
Yeah,
If
so
the
customer centric skills or convincing skills, both you can use, right?
query solving, like
problem solving.
yes.
Right, so functional आपकी immediately आ जाएंगी depending upon the role that you're looking for, right? Technical आ जाएंगी keeping in mind what kind of qualifications the person should have. So that will become automatically easier. So the more you move from organizational to foundational to functional to technical, it all gets much more clear, right? The more you will practice it, the more clarification it will bring to you.
Yes.
Right? Now these are functional competencies. What are functional competencies? इनको हम कहते हैं front wheel competencies because these are the ones which drives the organization. Right. If you will not have any knowledge or skill about that area where you have to function, you will not be able to succeed in that organization. So if you're a sales manager and you do not have anything related to do with sales, you will not be able to get successful. Right? So how do we write these competencies? For examples are given here. So financial specialists need the financial competencies of financial analysis, accounting systems. So this is a very basic for them. Similarly, if you're hiring for an information analyst, information system analyst, that person should have good knowledge about programming and doing system analysis. Right? If you're hiring for a contract specialist, what would they be requiring? They should know and be aware about acquisition planning, contract administration. Right? Simple terms में आए, मतलब simple वाला कोई job के लिए अगर if I say, suppose you have to hire an HR manager. So HR manager के लिए functional competencies क्या देखेंगे हम? What are the ones that you are look for?
Ma'am, problem solving.
Okay. Functional. What will, suppose you are going to be HR manager, what qualities or what skills should be there in you? Why are you studying this course? What are you gaining from this course?
Knowledge.
You're gaining all the functional competencies. Right? Can you just give me 1 second? Very important call is coming. Just 1 second. Yeah. So for HR manager, what would be the basic skills that you would need? What are we studying in this course?
Leadership, a good leader.
Okay, leader is fine, but functional की बात कर रहे हैं, जिसके बगैर आप काम ही नहीं कर सकते हो. लीडरशिप क्वालिटी नहीं होगी, मैं स्किल सिखा दूंगी. I will not give you leadership role.
Thinking skills. Thinking
Which
skills.
skills?
Thinking,
Sorry?
ma'am. Thinking of it. Thinking skills.
No, thinking also के बगैर भी चल जाएगा. जैसे फाइनेंशियल के लिए फाइनेंशियल एनालिसिस होना जरूरी है, अकाउंटिंग सिस्टम की नॉलेज है. Till the time you will not have knowledge about HR systems, will you work? So that becomes your functional knowledge, your functional competencies. Right? Core area, any knowledge, any skill or knowledge related to the core area where you are hiring people are called functional competencies. Right? So they are different from generic, or they are different from foundational, because foundational is more related to organizational culture and behavioral skills. Functional is purely related to why my job requires these skills, which you are going to use day-to-day basis.
Ma'am, ethical behavior.
Yes, ethical behavior is important. People-centric ethical behavior is all important for HR. Correct? So competencies कहाँ use होती हैं? How are you going to use them in your HR while you are recruiting? So you have to mention about them. When you are selecting the people within your organization, then you have to do that. When you are training and developing your individual development plans, appraisals, performance management systems, everywhere which you are talking about, all competencies are going to be very, very important role of it. Now, how do we write competencies? Sir has told you, ये कराया था sir ने ये वाला push. He's given you an assignment now, how to write foundational and other competencies for principal and other.
Yes,
position.
R&D head and.
So कैसे करी फिर? How did you write the competencies? अपने आप लिख दिया ऐसे ही?
No, we discussed with sir and we read a bit.
So generally, there is a process of writing competencies. You cannot really write a competency just like that, right? You need to become a subject matter expert. Subject matter experts means, suppose if you are a salesperson, so you cannot write as an HR person, you cannot write a competency for salesperson. You need to have a subject matter expert from each function who can guide you and help you in writing functional competencies, right? HR people, when they write competencies in an organization, they can only help and write the competencies which is organizational or general, yeah, foundational, जिनको अभी हमने पढ़ा, right? The rear wheel competencies. Whenever you're writing down functional competencies, for that you need an expert from that particular department, that particular function. Otherwise, there would be certain things which would be left because you're not the technical guy to write down all the things.
Yes.
So right now you're thinking the sales easy hai, to sales ke bare mein hum likh lenge. Marketing is easy, but there are different kind of roles in sales and marketing also, and in finance department, in logistics department, in operational department. So now there are various departments, Ruchi, I'm sure being in the organization, she would know. It's very difficult when till the time you're not a part of the organization for 3-4 years to write down these competencies, right?
Yes.
So how do the subject matter experts write these things? There is a step process which we follow in human resource management. The process is called, number 1, review information. So all the information that you can collect, right? I am not sure how much you remember. Last week हमने 5 methods पढ़े थे for writing down job analysis. कैसे job analysis को हम technically find out करते? क्या क्या पढ़े थे? Quickly, a quick recap.
Ma'am, observational method.
Very good. Observation method and
Interview questionnaire
questionnaire, right?
and diary method.
Very good. Diary and critical incident. Quickly copy में से देख लो जितना देख सकते हैं ना, सब चीटर कॉप्स. कुछ कैसे कैसे आगे बढ़ोगे अगर याद नहीं करोगे ना, कुछ पॉइंट्स तो याद होने चाहिए ना. आई नो कि बहुत जल्दी क्लासेस हो रही है फॉर यू गाइस. 2 वीक्स, 1 वीक के अंदर ही 4 क्लासेस. इट्स गोइंग टू बी डिफिकल्ट, बट स्टिल सी सम ऑफ द थिंग्स, टेक ग्रास्प सम थिंग्स ऑन योर ओन. तभी हम कहते हैं थोड़ा सा रिसर्च कर लिया करो. After the classes, if you read even for 10 minutes, you will be able to remember most of the things. HR is not that difficult. It's very interesting, but you have to show that interest. Right? So practically, how competencies we write is we review info. How do we review info? In सब में से कोई भी method हमने use कर लिया. Whether we used questionnaire method to find out information about the position, we use diary method, critical incident method, all these methods. And then we take the review of the position, that what position is. Then we write down all the tasks that the person has to do under that position. All the tasks that the person is supposed to do. Correct? Now, after writing down the task, we will write their KSAPs. KSAPs is knowledge, skills, abilities, and performance areas. Then you sort it out, that what are the critical ones and what are the important ones that can go into the functional competencies, without which the person cannot perform. Right? So for example, very basic example ke saath chalenge. Everybody has seen a school teacher. Right? So what are the important tasks that a school teacher has to do in a classroom?
Teaching.
Correct. Teaching is the prior most. What
Giving
else? Giving
assignments to them, homework.
Okay, giving homework. Syllabus cover karana. Right? The entire syllabus, which is set for which class, they have to complete that syllabus.
I'm taking tests, their knowledge.
Right. So taking regular assessments or tests. Right? अब individual day का बात करते हैं, एक दिन में क्या क्या करा देते हैं teachers class में. So that's how you will be able to write down the task. That's how it is written, right? What are the teachers supposed to do? They're supposed to take attendance when they come in the class. They are supposed to maintain the discipline.
Yes.
Right? They have to come on time. Their punctuality and discipline is utmost important. Right? They have to cover the syllabus. They have to teach properly. Their communication skills should be good. So you have written down all the tasks, right? Now out of these tasks, we will write their knowledge, skills, and areas, aptitude areas. What are these? How can a teacher complete the syllabus if they are not knowledgeable about what is going on in the organization? Right? They would be aware about 7th class का है तो 7th class के पूरा syllabus के बारे में पता होना चाहिए.
Right.
Right? 8th class के है तो उसके बारे में पता होना चाहिए. Teaching करनी है, so without communication skills, can they teach good? Problem solving नहीं होगा तो can they answer the questions of students? Right? So these are their important area of knowledge, skills, and aptitude that is required. Right? फिर आपने सब लिख लिया, उसके बाद आपने उनको sort कर लिया कि which are the more important ones. So those important ones which are really, really critical for functional work to happen in the organization are called competencies. Then you write down the competencies related to them. Correct?
Right.
कैसे लिखेंगे task? वो भी है इसके अंदर. So a task is a unit of work or set of activities needed to produce. Then a task is described by a statement consisting of an action verb. कि आपने करना क्या है, right? So whatever actions that you have to take as a part of your role, that will become your task, right? So in a very simpler term, we will call it a phrase explaining why and how. Then आ जाता है आपका how the task is actually written. कैसे लिखा जाता है task को और KSAPs को? Action verbs. So what the worker does, what exactly are they supposed to do in the company? For example, if somebody has to do sorting, so sorting becomes their major action that they have to do, right? फिर object of the verb, to whom or what is to be done, right? Then आता है why the work is done, the third point. So what is the output that you are expecting to come out of whatever you're doing? Because if you're an organization, you are not just going for your efforts. You have to show your productivity, you have to show your outcome every day. So everything has to be an outcome based, right? So for example, let's take another example. यहाँ पर लेते हैं. Suppose you are hiring a cook or a chef for your office, for your hotel, for your restaurant, whatever place. Now the chefs are very common. Many organizations have chefs who prepare food for the employees. So action verb क्या होगा? What the worker does majorly. Chef का काम क्या है? What they have to do is, right? So he or she has to cook good food, right? So that cooking good food is their action verb. Then object of the verb क्या आ गया? To whom and what it is done, why it is done.
Okay.
For the employees, for the people, for whatever it is, right? Why the work is done? What are the expected output? That all your meals are served on time. That's why you'll hire a chef, right? Lunch is being prepared on time, morning breakfast is on time, dinner is on time, right? So expected output is good food at the right time. And how the work is done?
Hygienically.
Cooking
Right.
equipment.
So all the procedures he or she will follow, right, to prepare. Because if chefs ऐसे नहीं है कि कुछ भी बना के दे देंगे, they have to prepare good food, so there should be a procedure that they will have to follow within an organization. Organization to organization depend करता है. Tools क्या use करेंगे? That is important. क्या equipments use करेंगे? और क्या work aids use करेंगे? Stationaries या different kind of things in organization, right? So that's how you write task in a very detailed manner, telling what, whom, why, and how. ठीक है? Make sense? Now कैसे आप KSAPs लिखोगे? What is knowledge? How knowledge, skill, and abilities differ from each other? ये तो अभी ताजा पढ़ा है सैटरडे को. Hima?
Skill is that we can able to do by practice.
पहले knowledge से start करते हैं ना. What is knowledge?
Like to gain regarding the particular subject role, what is the to know regarding the particular role completely.
How do we gain knowledge? Suppose you have to tell somebody that I am gaining knowledge. How do you gain knowledge?
By reading or
Very good. By reading. How did you become CA? CA is a knowledge or a skill? Quickly.
It's knowledge, ma'am.
Right? So it's a knowledge, correct. So that's what it is. So any formal education that we take, right? Anything that we possess mentally with formal education or with the help of any training or by personal experience, right? That becomes our knowledge. Very simple, right? What is the skill now?
Skill is like grasping, uh, like grasping power, or
No, skill is not grasping power. Suppose देखो CA का बन गए आप, that's your knowledge that you have gained, right?
yes,
So now in order to become CA for a good organization, what are the skills that you should have?
mm,
You should be able to deal with people,
yes, ma'am.
right? That's one of the important skill.
Yes,
Correct.
ma'am. Correct.
Second, that आपने knowledge तो लिया principal accounting principles का, but what about the application of those principal accounting principles? Right? So skill is
Some ability
what you
to
can do. Yeah.
do.
So whatever you can do with your knowledge becomes
Knowledge.
your skill. Anything, any manipulation of your, whether mental, verbal, or manual, manipulation of any of data or things is big skill. That is not your formal education. You can always learn and unlearn skills. Right? That's why we say कि हम trainings क्यों कराते हैं organization में और otherwise also. Why do we provide trainings? The trainings are provided because one skill is a little bit there. We can just enhance their skill or we can fine tune their skills a little bit more. Right? Now, what is the ability, Devansh?
मैम टू डू मैम मैम किसी काम को करने के लिए मैम कुछ अगर चाहिए हो तो एबिलिटी होती है मैम टू डू वी नीड एबिलिटी
वो एबिलिटी कैसे आती है?
मैम by analyzing things.
Okay, by analyzing things. What else? Without ability, can you work with skills and knowledge?
No.
Why? No तो आया फटाफट से, फिर क्यों? Why not? Deepika, Prachi, क्यों चुप हैं आज? Prachi is not talking at all.
Ma'am, ability can be termed, said in the terms of capacity, like the capacity to learn something. If we have a capacity to learn something, our skill may increase, and with that our knowledge might also increase. But if we don't have any ability to increase our skills or knowledge, then ma'am, I'm not able to explain that much, but I have lack of words.
इसके अंदर हमेशा ये होता है. Very senior professional also cannot even describe between. There is always a very thin line difference between these three. Knowledge is obviously different, but skill and ability sometimes become very confusing. See, knowledge is, you just have to remember that. So knowledge is always related to the formal education that we always gain. Anything in that area. So if you are learning today to become HR managers tomorrow or learning this thing, so you are taking this knowledge. Right? Side by side, what are we giving you? We are also giving you professional skills, which so that you can perform your job as a HR manager much more better. Right? So your professional skills, what are we giving in these courses? Like your communication, your presentation, your problem solving, decision making. All these skills should also become much more proficient. Correct? So suppose now tomorrow you become an HR manager, knowledge सारी है, सारा कुछ आता है. You know how to do performance management, training भी आ गया, competency mapping भी सीख लिया, सब सीख लिया. But you do not have good communication skills to talk to the people. Then can you actually use your knowledge to the fullest?
No, ma'am.
नहीं कर सकते, right? So then what the HR manager will see in you, people who are hiring, what will they see? Ki right now that communication skill is not there. But then they will see whether Bushra has the ability to increase the skills or not.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So they will see whether she has that learning ability. Can she take up that role by giving some trainings to her? So they will give you some training on your skills, looking at your ability, and your knowledge will increase. Right? That's how the entire circle, not just circle, we always call it a triangle of ask. People use it KSAP. I generally call it ask. So if you do not have the ask in you, which is ability, skill, and knowledge, it would be very difficult to perform any job. Right? So that's how you differentiate between the three. Now, what are your personal characteristics and attributes? Which comes as your personal characteristics with that. Some people you might see that, they are natural leaders. They don't get to learn about leadership skills or strategies. For example, a very good example which always comes into my mind is, somebody like Mahatma Gandhi. He was studying his course outside India. He was doing his law, whatever he was doing. And suddenly there was certain feeling in him which he made him, a leader. His ability to lead came with so ease. His personal characteristics of leadership was so easy that he said लोगों को कि अहिंसा नहीं करना है, तो लोगों ने नहीं किया. They really look after him. Similar thing happened with Hitler also. So Hitler is also a leader, natural leader, but in a negative connotation. He asked so many people to follow him and do something, and people started doing that. Right? So the war happened. People were abusing Jews. So different kind of things happened during that particular time period. So these people have these personal characteristics and attributes which comes with them with the capacity of doing something different. Right? So for example, learning leadership skills, patience, willingness to travel, tact. How do you do that? Right? So ये सारी की सारी चीजें आपकी personal characteristics और attributes हो जाएंगी.
In sociology, we termed it as charismatic personality. We study this topic, and it is termed as charismatic personality.
Correct. So charismatic personality, charismatic is again an adjective. So personality क्या बन गई? आपकी personal characteristics, how your personality has shaped up. So now you will see that there are various kind of sales managers in various industries. Right? मिले हैं आप लोग बहुत सारे sales managers से, whether you go to a shop or showroom, or people come to your place to sell something, right? So various kind of sales manager. So now if a personal characteristics of patience will not be there in sales manager, will they be able to perform their other jobs properly? It gets little difficult, right? So having these personal characteristics is very important. Right? Can you teach personal characteristics to people? Can you change that?
No, ma'am, because it is inherited in them from childhood, so it's
Yes.
difficult.
So you cannot train them into that, but you can help them fine tune it. Right? Slowly. अब हम competencies कैसे लिखते हैं? Let's come to that. So far we were talking about skills, aptitude, and knowledge. Let's talk about writing competencies. राइट. आपकी कंपनी का स्ट्रैटेजिक विजन और ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल गोल्स जब तक क्लियर नहीं होंगे, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू फाइंड आउट ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल कॉम्पिटेंसीज एवर. So the first and prior thing for any HR or any person who has to write down these things, or you are starting your own organization like we talked in your assignment, then it is very important that your strategic vision is there, that where exactly are you looking your organization to reach. Yeah, your mission statement, that what exactly is the mission of your organization, and your organizational goals coming out of it. Goals are in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years, what you actually want to achieve for a year, how many products you want to sell, what kind of profits you want to earn. So all those goals you have to write down clearly. Correct? Then आ जाता है आपका position description, job announcements, sources of job analysis. All these things should be very, very clearly obtained by you. Company's organization's chart, hierarchy ko jana. Everything about the hierarchy is really, really important for writing down competencies at stages. Because even if you are in HR department, but totally depending upon what position you have to take in HR department, your competencies will come out of that. A CHRO or a manager HR cannot have similar competencies. So their competencies will differ totally depending upon what kind of role they are playing in the organization. So organizational chart generally talks about the complete hierarchy system of the organization. Then आ जाता है आपका fourth part, which is government rule, regulations, policies, professional standards, laws related to that. All those things are very important to find out what kind of competencies would be required. Because हमारे roles कभी standalone नहीं होते हैं organization में, we have to play multiple roles, right? So therefore, playing that multiple role, you cannot negate all these things, which is really important. So every professional standard. So for example, CA का professional standard क्या है? That you have to pass the exam. Unless you are not passing the final exams, you are not calling yourself a CA. That's the reason why you will see people say, I am intermediate CA. Yeah, I have done just intermediate. I have not cleared all the exams in final. Till the time all the exams in final is not clear, they don't get that. Right? Similar thing, PhD कर रहे हैं, doctorate कर लिया है, thesis लिख दिया और आपने अपने आगे नाम लगा लिया डॉक्टर, नहीं हो सकता ना. So you have to have that professional standards which are there. You have to follow those standards. You cannot call yourself MBA. Can you, passing out from YSI, getting this certification, can you call yourself MBA? No, you cannot, right? Because that professional standard is not met. Education wise, skill wise, you've got that. But degree, diploma wise, you've not got that, because we are providing you diploma for 6 months. Institutions and universities are providing 2 years degree. So that's the only difference, right? But professional standards nahi maintain ho rahe. So this is how things are been described by competencies. Then aata hai aapka typical problems, turnaround time, internal and external aapke relationship with customers, internal customers, with employees, right? Kitna aapki proficiency hai cheezon ko karne ke liye, what kind of targets you are going to give, what kind of things you are going to work on. These things are really important. Or last, we have already discussed this many times, work equipments. कौन से equipments के साथ काम करना है? What are the softwares necessary for your knowledge, technology, computers? That becomes your technical competencies. Right? So this is the entire thing that we have spoken about, how we are going to write step-by-step competencies. Now, this is an example of how generally people write competencies in organizations. Right? So this top job title is, suppose you have a training specialist whose job is to train the employees in organizations. So the job title is called employee training specialist. Competency level क्या है? Organizational competencies के हिसाब से competency labels दिए जाते हैं हर एक competency को. तो उनकी क्या है? Curriculum development. Because he's a training specialist, till the time the curriculum development nahi hoga, so they will not have the right skills to do that. Important task that they have to do, these 3 tasks. Write behavior-based instructional objectives to build knowledge and skills, research training content, and then write training content to facilitate learning instructional objectives. उसके बाद क्या आ गया description? सारा case apps जो हमने discuss किया. Ability to establish structural objectives, ability to write in a concise and grammatical, ability to research, ability to organize, knowledge of adult learning theory. Right? That's how competency worksheets are written down. Many organizations follow this particular rule of functional competency checklist. क्या evaluation criteria use करते हैं वो लोग? All the related knowledge, skills, and aptitude personalities are grouped together. Personal characteristics are grouped together. क्या क्या observable है? That's why you can use observation method to find out what are the measurable ones. कौन से distinguish करते हैं from one person to another? What are the competencies linked directly with your major tasks? Simple, clear, and characteristics को identify करने की है या नहीं है? What are the skills that is required at the entry of the job? And as you move up the hierarchy, what are the skills and aptitude that would be required at that stages? ये छोड़ दो, ये अभी तुम्हारे को समझ आएगा नहीं. I will not going to guess. So there is a method which helps in finding out what kind of leadership competence is required for various positions. Right? So it is for that basically. This is what we designed for an organization. So uska example hai, but right now it's too complicated for all of you. So I don't want to get into this. Right? Any queries related to competency that you've not understood? Because see, if you won't get into the deeper knowledge about competencies and job knowledge and skills, it would be very difficult to understand performance management system and training and development. Because these 2 portions are 100% related to competency mapping, competency skilling, competency ratings, performance management through that. Right? So the assignment that I am going to give you today for Friday classes is only this much, that research about competency as much as possible. Right? You have got the basic knowledge from what sir told you in Saturday, Sunday classes, and then I told you today and last week classes. So, right? So the basics are more or less given. Now it's your turn to show us what kind of research you are doing. Now take example of any 2 job positions, any 2 as per you. Don't take very general ones, ki school, college principals, ki general manager ki, because these are very specific ones. No, I really do not want to get into that. Take simpler ones first. Simpler ones can be, you are hiring in recruiter, right? Or anything related to your field that you are aware about.
Ma'am, for a chef?
Anyone. See, totally up to you. For everybody, there should be totally different positions. That's why it cannot be common. Right? So Devansh, because he is also studying hotel management, so it should relate with that.
Okay.
Right? So for Ruchi, because she is from diamond industry, so she would have her current roles which are there. So she can talk about that. So pick up any 2 positions. Right? HR executive, sales manager, customer sales manager, chef, restaurant manager, anything that you have seen closely yourself. Right? Now what you have to do is write down about the task that they have to do. Simple. So that means their job responsibilities will come out. So according to you, what are the tasks this person has to do, this position has to do? And write down their foundational competencies and functional competencies. Foundations are simple. I'm again telling you that foundational competencies are those which are really a requirement that a person should have that in order to perform functional competencies. And functional competencies are related to directly which function you are hiring. So if it is chef, then the function that they perform in the organization is food and production. That's what you call the function in the hotel management industry. Right, Devansh?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So according to food and production, you have to then describe their competencies, what needs to be done. Okay. You want to ask me, what are you going to write? I will give you hints today. So if you are clear about what position are you choosing, I can give you some hints so that you can write it better. Hima, kuch clear hai?
Yes,
Bushra,
ma'am.
what are the positions you want to write about?
Ma'am, ma'am, regarding financial manager.
Okay, financial manager, good.
Ma'am, since I'm a college student, I'll write about assistant professor.
You would know about assistant professor's entire job. See, you would know assistant professor's job from your point of view, what you have seen. What are the tasks they are supposed to do for university or college? Are you aware about all that?
Ma'am, actually, my sister is an assistant professor, so.
बस फिर क्या problem है? फिर तो yes, you can do that. Then writing about complete thing, what kind of papers they have contributed, the research they have done, everything should come in. मतलब competencies should be mapped according to that. So task के बाद functional and foundational competencies. I am not interested in skills. I am not interested in qualifications. I just want to see your tasks, and then I want to see your functional and foundational competency. Right? Not many, just 4 or 5. See, ideally for one position, person should only have 5 good competencies. People generally map that only. 5 is the standard minimum that we do. Right? That's why most of the competency mapping sheets are dekhoge. I saw that Sir had shown you some. So all those sheets that we create as a part of competency mapping, we create purely with 5 minimum competencies. Okay? Foundational and functional. Correct? So how do we write job description? You've got that. I'll share that with you so that you can go through it in details. क्या था? Quickly बोलो. देखो 1 मिनट लगता है ढूंढने में.
Job title.
जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन कैसे लिखना है? हाँ, टाइटल हो गया, करेक्ट. व्हाट एल्स?
If I am writing about the hotel.
Roles, ma'am, role.
टाइटल के बाद what was the second point?
Location.
Starting date.
Correct. Location and
Terms, salary,
सैलरी बाद में था. सैलरी से पहले भी एक और चीज था.
Location नहीं था.
Kind of role, type of role. That is full time, part time. That is mandatory. Without that, it will not work. Hybrid, remote, work from home, work from office. Yeah, this is mandate that you have to write and mention. Then yes, a salary range. Or if you have,
Responsibilities.
then comes
requirements,
no requirement से पहले कुछ और आता है.
Possibilities.
About organization.
Correct. First is about organization. So you will give a brief about organization. How can you sell your thing to somebody without telling them about that? Na? So first thing is you're selling the organization to them. So your job description would talk about organization. 4-5 lines, introduction. Then what about?
about the role,
Correct. Then about the role. Good. So you're
Then-
going to talk about in generic terms what the role comprises of. Whether it's a leadership role, it's an execution role. What are they supposed to do?
then the responsibilities,
And then your complete responsibilities. Very well. Good. And then last is
Contact details.
resume थोड़ी ना लिख रहे हैं, job descriptions लिख. What are we going to write last में? The qualifications, criteria. Task से बात. Right? Why do you want somebody? So their knowledge, skills, and aptitude. Complete case apps. इतना अच्छा example दिखाया तुम्हें CTO का, and you forgot. Examples are shown. These are all practical things that I'm showing. You know, my client will get angry if he gets to know that I'm showing such things in the classes. So you have to take all this knowledge and use it, maybe keep it for the future. I will share these job descriptions with you, removing the name of the organization. Right? So keep 2-3 samples with you. There are very difficult methods, which is called HAY method. Hay. Hay method is a technical form of deriving job descriptions in organizations. Many organizations use that method. We are not teaching you Hay method because it's a technical thing altogether. So अब ये simple वाला लिखना सीख जाएंगे. So then you will be able to understand the Hay method of writing down job descriptions also. So that is the reason why I'm telling you to do this particular task for any 2 position. Once you get to know about the task and responsibility, I'll give you a very brief introduction about how to use Hay method. Many practitioners in India cannot use Hay method because they are not trained into writing down Hay method job descriptions. Okay. So research करना, थोड़ा सा पढ़ के आना Hay method के बारे में, you will be able to understand that better. All right. So that's all for today. Any other questions that you have related to competencies and skills? Feel free to ask. Out of the syllabus, any one of you will have to take that responsibility. If you have got the syllabus, just tell me from the syllabus what are the topics which are left for extra classes. Who will do that? You have the syllabus?
Yes.
Good. So just tell me the syllabus. Read out to me. I might be having it in my phone.
Syllabus में ma'am chapter 1 was covered OKRS and SMART goals, till OKRS, and 3rd chapter performance management system Hardik sir has started already.
That he is starting. No, I'm saying for the extra classes. What is left?
Human resources में मैम HR metrics measuring specific impact.
ये तो अभी नहीं करा रहे हैं, ये तो लास्ट में होगा.
मैम इसमें कैसे पता चलेगा अभी what is left? The chapter 3 वाला मैम.
Chapter 3.
Objective of PMS, challenges of PMS,
ये सब
method, tool and
PMS है.
techniques, appraisal
चलो.
form and forms.
What I'll do is I'll ask Anamika to do that. What are the
Yes,
topics
ma'am.
that I took and what are the topics which are left, so that we get to know कि कितना और लंबा चलेगा extra
Yes,
classes.
ma'am.
I
इसमें
think-
actually ma'am I'm also not clear.
I think 2 more sessions would be required, but more than that. I'll go through my detail wise, date wise what we did, and then we will get to know.
Yeah. Ma'am, Friday को again 7:30 to 2 hours classes.
Generally, these are not 2 hours. हम 1.25 घंटे में खत्म कर देते हैं. It's not really 2 hours. We started late today, and it's 9:10.
हाँ मैम actually ठीक है.
Any other day you want to choose?
No ma'am ठीक है फिर सबका change करना पड़ेगा. Actually Friday, Saturday, Sunday 3 days हो जाएगा then.
अच्छा, that is yes. But see, Monday becomes very difficult for me.
Yes. ma'am.
So either you change to Tuesday, Thursday, you can do that. Tuesday, Thursdays, no, Tuesdays don't work for me. Tuesdays I have calls in the evening.
Because ma'am फिर I don't get time to read and this to complete assignments and go through it because office में चला जाता है and after.
That's why I'm not giving you any assignment. Na? So this
Yes.
assignment you can give. See, it's not really an assignment. It's just a practice of what you have studied. This one particular, right? And for extra classes, generally there is no other assignments, onwards, because all the assignments are already been given. It's in the group. So you can, after the classes, take it from Anamika. I'll tell Anamika to share it with you. You can submit it later. Because I am very strict in terms of my markings. I'm not really sure about Hardik sir because Hardik sir is new. In my last batches, people have got B grade, C grade purely because they did not submit the assignments on time.
Ma'am, this is what I also feel कि मुझे भी D मिलने वाला है because
so
बिल्कुल
at the end of 6 months, I am going to give you marks purely on your class presence and your participation because I told you my classes has to be very interactive. बातचीत करते रहोगे तो नंबर पाते रहोगे. It's not just बातचीत, it's like, see, my way of teaching is that it's a two-way learning. Always. If you're not asking questions, according to me, then you are either understanding everything or you're not understanding anything. Right? So questions has to be asked, and you cannot ask questions if you have not studied these topics. Right? Trust me, MBA is gruesome. It's very grilling. Right? Oh, you are just getting 10% of it only. हमारी रोज क्लासेस होती थी, रोज प्रेजेंटेशंस होते थे, रात को 8 बजे घर जाते थे, I mean हॉस्टल में जाते थे, and next morning 8 o'clock you have to be back in the classes, and that too 8 o'clock when you're leaving the classrooms with the presentation or assignment that you have to submit next morning. So either you are in a group creating a case study, solving a case study, creating a presentation. So that's how MBA is. MBA का मतलब वही है कि आपको stress देना. Stress that you are going to get in the offices, in organization, that how you actually have to manage that stress. Not stress, actually, manage the timelines. Okay? So don't get hassled with this thing. I understand you are working also side by side. We are all working. Trust me, for me, it is much more difficult to manage these classes. With my broken feet, I cannot do much, so I am taking these classes. It's good for me.
Okay, ma'am, you have some issue.
Yeah, right. So do that Friday ko, we will do 1 hour class, not more than that. 1 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes. I'll tell sir that should be class. And I think there are 2 or 3 topics left, not much.
Yes. Ma'am, today I was going through the syllabus. कि कौन से दिन क्या पढ़ाया, so I was not able to make it out. तो मैम कुछ एक एक्सेल जैसा कुछ है कि on which date what topics have been covered, like topics तो है but which are left and which topics we are going to cover.
Sometimes what happens is this particular syllabus is designed purely chapter wise. right? Now in a chapter, there are so many different topics.
Mhm.
For example, you will see that competency is not even written in this particular course.
Yes.
Paper B. But competency is a part of performance management system and job description. Now, this is both. Right. So there are many such topics which will come out easily. What I'll do is maybe I'll try on the basis of the last sessions, I mean the last batch that we have covered, I'll take out the topic wise thing.
Fine.
Because all the PPTs are here. So that much I can do. I can give you a little idea about what are the topics that we need.
Fine, that will help.
So that can be done. I'll share the syllabus. I'll ask her to share the syllabus again after we have given the entire topic.
Okay.
All right. So that's all. Have a good rest of the week. See you on Friday.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Good
Come
night,
back
ma'am.
with assignment. Yeah.
Yes.